Hey there, it's Lacey J, here to ask you to go to spacebearmedia.com right now to access all our content, buy yourself some merch, and most importantly, send us a message, a question, fan mail, even hate mail. We'll respond on YouTube. Also, please remember to rate and review the podcast on your favorite app or share it with someone you know who loves Lost. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Lost in My 40s, Season 6, Episode 2, LAX, Part 2. It's an originals episode, and it's a Christy episode. But first, how's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Oh, my God.
We had to listen to you do that for like 15 seconds earlier. So
Okay, but we didn't record it, and it was actually a pretty epic burp. I think so.
Wasn't as epic as Boogers and Revenge of the Nerves.
it
That's what I was
sounded,
thinking.
it sounded more like you were drowning than burping.
Like,
Yeah, it's kind of gross sounding, to be
Then
honest.
you all just watched me drown, I guess. That's fine.
Well, there's
All
nothing
Not
Derek and I
Penny's
can
boat.
do.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Ben's just in the other room from me, but
Yeah.
still didn't come try to save me. Whatever. How about you do this instead, Ben? Remind us what the power rankings look like after episode 1 that everyone just listened to 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. Third from the bottom. Bram.
Yeah.
Negative 8 points.
'Cause
Second
you
from
hate
the
him.
bottom. Arzt. Negative 10 points. Because we hate him as well. And at the bottom of the bottom, the Man in Black. Negative 13 points.
Mm-hmm.
I got to remember. Okay, so at the top, we had...
All the
I tried this one.
ties.
Yeah, there were ties. Let's see. There was Sawyer and Desmond were tied with 5 points. So that was third place. Then we had Cindy, Kate, and Richard Alpert tied with 6 points for second place. And then
Was all
we had
that
Hurley running away with it with 18 points, taking a commanding lead on episode
Good
1.
for you, Mayor of Island Town. He
Somebody
could win
didn't put him number one
another
last week.
major award.
It's a major award.
He's the luckiest guy in the world.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Awesome. I bet some of those ties sort themselves out by the end of this podcast. But for now, let's start at the beginning. Christy, would you take us through the conclusion of the last season opener of this show? LAX Part 2.
It would be my great pleasure.
Yay.
But of course.
So it is 2007 on the island. Jack and Jin pull Saeed out of the Dharma van while Hurley removes the guitar case. Juliet's body is lying covered next to the van. Miles sees Hurley and asks, "Are we going to sing Kumbaya on the way?"
Oh my God, Miles.
Damn.
Hurley tells him it's not a guitar and then ignores him when Miles asks what it is. And Kate wants to know if Sawyer is going to the temple, but he says he's staying behind to bury Juliet. Kate wants to help, but he tells her to help Saeed. She's real, like, just fucking go away, Kate. You know, like she's like, I'm going to stay and help. And he's like,
No.
no.
Help bury that bitch. Yeah. Competition.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to
don't
make
even
sure
know-
she's gone.
Yes.
oh my God. But if I was Kate, I wouldn't even, I don't know. Is it weird to have like your ex-girlfriend burying your current girlfriend with you? Like, I don't know. It just feels like maybe not an activity for the two of them. But maybe I'm just projecting that the way I feel about it. I don't
After they're
know.
done burying her, they'll do it on top of the body.
Well, that's gross,
Whoa.
but that's fine. You should watch Saltburn on Amazon Prime. Anyways. Keep going.
Anyway, he tells her to go help Saeed. Sawyer takes some shovels out of the van and asks Miles if he will stay back to help him. Miles says, "You got it, boss." Kate offers to leave a trail so they can follow. And Sawyer says, I ain't following nobody, Kate.
All right.
Jack tells Hurley they're ready whenever he is. So Sawyer picks up Juliet's body and gives Jack the evil eye before walking away. Jack and Jen pick up Saeed. That sounds like Jack and
Jack
Jill.
and Jill
whenever-
took out the hand, each with $1.25. Jill came down with $2.50. That slut. Hey.
Oh my goodness.
So Jack and Jen pick up Saeed, and the rest of the group leaves for the temple. They approach the outside of the temple, and Hurley says, that's a big wall.
That's a big tree.
Oh, God.
When Ben and I were in Barcelona, we went on this day trip.
It was the Montserrat, which never do it. If you go, just avoid that.
That's not where we were. It was a different day trip. We went to Girona and we went to Costa Brava. And the tour guide was just like a local in his car. And then Ben and I and this other couple who are, of course, from Texas, because everywhere we go, we meet people from Texas. Ben's like a freaking magnet for them somehow.
Right.
But they were
bigger
like,
in Texas.
they were just this retired couple that had, they didn't know how to have a conversation. It was really weird. The guy really said nothing. And the wife was just like, she'd just sit in the car. She'd look out the window and she'd go, well, that's a big tree.
Our pants are the same color.
Yeah, at some point she looked down and then she looked at our laps because I'm in the back with them and she was in the middle and she looks down at our laps and then she looks over to me and she goes, our pants are the same color. And I was like, yes, they're jeans. It was wild. And she must have said about 400 times, we've got 6 grandbabies.
I'm going to take a wild guess that they were blue jeans.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyways, that's what
She was trying
that.
to get you to bite, ask her about her grandkids, and you were not
she
having
really
it.
wanted.
You were just like,
no. I just kept saying, congratulations.
Yep.
You did absolutely nothing.
I just didn't want. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do the whole look at 6 grandchildren when in the car I was paying attention to the big tree out the window. Anyways.
Costa Brava was kind of a bust, too, because it was raining that whole day.
I mean, yeah, it sucked that it was raining a little bit on the shore, but it was also one of those things. It's like the Pacific Northwest. Like it's still beautiful when it was raining. It wasn't pouring.
It was beautiful.
It was like misty rain, and it was still gorgeous. Well, I mean,
Girona was cool.
Yeah, that was incredible. One of the
my Girona.
Yeah, some of the Game of Thrones there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like one of the only walled cities left in Europe or the world, I guess that would be. But
build the wall.
Oh my fuck! All right, now we go. Now move on. Move on.
So Jack wonders how to get over the wall, but Hurley walks over to the hole in the ground and says they're bringing Saeed down there. They all go down and they find Montaigne's skeleton. Mm-hmm. Kate empties his bag and Hurley finds a French copy of Soren Kierkegaard's Fear and Trembling. And he says, I feel a Gilgamesh coming on.
Oh, no.
Hurley actually says, who brings a book into a cave?
It really is the fun facts, though, but I promise not to Gilgamesh you. You'll see why. It's pertinent. It's pertinent. Keep going.
Was it Fear and Trembling in Las Vegas? Is that?
Yeah, exactly.
So after asking who brings a book into a cave, he goes, and why is his arm missing?
Uh-oh.
So Kate lights a torch from the torch farm, and Jen says it was ripped off when he was attacked by the black smoke.
So casual. Yeah. That was the guy.
Well, this is going to be awesome. So they continue their way, and they come to the hole where Ben fell down. Kate walks around the hole and then ahead of everybody. She starts hearing whispers all around her as the rest make their way around the hole, and Jack notices that she's missing and asks, where's Kate? He walks away from Hurley and Jen screaming for Kate. He can't find her, and then he hears Hurley calling for him. Most of what Hurley is yelling is muffled. All we can make out is, we can't There's some indistinct chatter and the sound of a punch. Jack takes off running, screaming for Hurley and Jin, and suddenly he hears whispers and then gets attacked and knocked unconscious. And then we have the lost title screen.
And then you hear someone yelling, Walt!
Yeah, right?
He's my son.
I'm ready for season 3 of From to come out. Apparently it's going to be in the fall.
Yes, really excited about that.
I really am too. I'm still intrigued by the mystery of that show in a similar way that I was with Lost. You know, it has like a couple of the same writers and obviously Michael. Well, I mean, not Michael. Wait, what is
Harold
his actual?
Perrineau.
Harold
Thank
Perrineau.
you, Harold Perrineau, who played Michael, and he's so good in that too. Yeah, I'm very intrigued by that mystery and looking forward to see where they take that show for sure.
Man, the way they opened season 2 was just...
It was amazing. Again, it has the same similar kind of feelings of Lost, where like season openers tend to have like big, shocking stuff.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right.
All right. Flash Sideways number 1. It is 2004 off the island. A custom agent asks anything to declare, and the marshal replies, just a murderer, because he's such a fucking dick.
Shut up.
The agent stamps the passports, and Kate says that she needs to go to the bathroom. At first, he protests, but she insists. She's actually kind of like playing nice. She's like...
Yeah, she's very earnest when she
half
asks him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes into the ladies' room to make sure it's clear. Kate goes into one of the stalls and sits on a toilet and takes Jack's pen out of her pocket.
Whoop, whoop.
She attempts to open the cuffs, but she drops the pen spring on the floor.
Damn it.
Marshall wants to know if she's done, just as he notices the spring on the floor. Kate notices as he bends down to pick it up. The marshal yells, "All right, time's up. Get out of there." She keeps protesting, saying, "1 more minute. I'm not finished."
I haven't pinched it yet.
"Open it, Austin. I swear to God, you don't open this door, I'm coming in there."
Uh-oh.
Kate kicks the stall door open, knocking the
Damn.
marshal back. He hits his head on the sink, and it knocks him unconscious.
Yeah, boy.
Actually, she grabbed his head and she hit his head into the sink.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's even more badass, actually.
Yeah, it's really, really
Yeah.
kind of brutal what she did.
Do
I mean,
it,
she
Kate.
could have easily fucking killed him.
Yeah, I'm on the fugitive side in this for whatever reasons.
I'm not really on either one of their side in this. Like, he's a dick just for the sake of being a dick, but that was really like out of line.
I guess I've forgiven Kate for her crimes. Like, if I was on that jury, it could be nullified. She murdered a gross guy. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but then
She just keeps making it worse, though.
yeah.
Well,
then she murdered the agent or the whatever guy sent after to apprehend her. At some point, you got to stop forgiving the crime.
Wait, who did she kill? What guy did she kill that was coming to apprehend her?
Basically, just tried to kill this guy.
Oh, well, she has been. Yeah, I mean,
Marshall.
she got her friend accidentally killed, too. But has she directly murdered anyone but her father? I don't think so.
Nope.
No,
Yeah.
She's
know
just
of.
been indirectly involved in all kinds
which,
of
I mean,
bad
you're
shit.
right.
Yeah.
Also
Robbed a
culpable
bank, you
for
know.
that, of course. Well, in my imaginary fun land where I live with Lost, I've forgiven her for her crimes, and I enjoyed the smashing of his face in the sink. So how about that?
Well, all
It's
right.
it is pretty gratifying.
Yes.
So Kate grabs his gun and his jacket. 2 women walk into the bathroom and they realize that there's this man unconscious on the floor.
Suddenly, Kate finds herself in the advantage, right? Because wait a second.
Yeah.
He's the one that's not supposed to be in here. If you don't see my
She should have pulled his
handcuffs.
pants down and be like, what are you doing?
So Kate covers her handcuffs with the coat, and one of the ladies is like, "Oh my God." And Kate says that he came into the bathroom and attacked her.
Nice.
One of the other women screams for an officer, and Kate takes off towards the elevator.
Derek, when you say nice, you mean her actions, not that he was in the
Yeah.
bathroom assaulting her. Perfect.
No,
I
yeah.
just wanted to be clear on that.
Yeah.
The moment he said it, you had kind of moved
Right.
on from the one topic, and it just sounded like, did he just Okay, go ahead.
Derek's not a creeper, Lacey.
I know. I just wanted to double check.
So as Kate is headed towards the elevator, she yells to the man inside to hold the door. She gets to the elevator and Sawyer says, "Welcome aboard. We're on the same flight, Sydney." And Kate replies, "Well, how about that?"
Oh, I love it! They
How
give her
about
his
that?
line. It's
Mhm.
brilliant.
Sawyer notices Kate's handcuffs, and then 2 TSA agents enter the elevator. The communication over their walkies makes it obvious that they're looking for Kate, and the walkie says, "We got a 341. Sawyer says, "Sounds serious. What's a 341? The agent tells him that's confidential, and Sawyer replies, "Well, if it's confidential, how the hell am I supposed to know if I see one?"
Got a point.
I mean, he's got a point.
Yeah.
Of course, at the same time, he knows he's seeing one. He knows it's Kate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like game recognizes game. He's like, all right, well, looks like she's on the run. Been there. Should probably do what I can to help.
So the elevator doors open. The agents try to leave, but Sawyer stops them and says, "Sorry, excuse me. Ladies first." Kate gives Sawyer an earnest look and says thanks. He tells her to take care, and she leaves.
I think that's a great interaction between the two of them. Like they had a minor one on the plane in this alternate universe, but I really like this one. I think it just felt like somehow it felt like the connection of their past that they had on the island in the early seasons when both of them were still working through their kind of what am I if I'm not this fugitive or this con man kind of thing. But in this scene, it felt just more fun and playful, like, oh, okay, like a caper. Look at these two criminals kind of helping each other out. And it just, I don't know, I found it like fun and it made me happy, I guess. I don't know what to say about it. What do you think about?
Also a little bit of a throwback to Kate helping, what's her name? Clementine's mom. Sawyer's.
Oh, Cassidy?
Yeah. So a throwback to Kate helping Cassidy.
Out of her situation, that's how they met. That's right, because she was scamming. That she learned from Sawyer, of course.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're right. It does like call back to that a lot. There's so much of that in this season. I love how they tie in those moments where it's like new but feels familiar.
Yes.
And this was one of those, I guess, is what I was trying to say while I was bumbling about earlier.
So 2007 on the island, Sawyer is putting dirt on Juliet's fresh grave, and Miles says, "Hey, I think that'll do it, boss." And Sawyer replies, "Stop calling me boss. You ain't my deputy anymore."
Aww.
Miles mentioned that there might be some beer in the van, but Sawyer ignores him and asks, "What did she want to tell me, Miles?" "Juliet. She said she wanted to tell me something. Then she died. What was it, Miles?" Miles suddenly realizes that this is why Sawyer asks him to stay. And Sawyer says, "You're the only one around here that talks to dead people." Which is not really true. Hurley does too.
Yeah, but I guess he doesn't know that.
Yeah. Miles tries to protest, explaining that it won't help to know. And Sawyer doesn't want to hear it and keeps demanding that Miles ask her. Finally, Miles yells, "She's gone, James." Sawyer throws Miles on top of the grave and says, "I know she's gone. I know. Now tell me." He's like pushing Miles' face down to the ground. Fucking find out what she wanted to say.
I feel like I might do the same in that situation.
So Miles gives in. He does this little ghost talking thing. We can start to hear like some muffled sounds, airplane turbulence, and Miles says, "It worked."
What?
Sawyer thinks he's referring to the process and asks what she said. But Miles said, "That's what she wanted to tell you. It worked."
What
A visibly confused and shaken Sawyer says, "What worked?"
What worked?
Yeah.
Elsewhere, Jack is regaining consciousness as he's being dragged into a clearing in the jungle. The rest of the originals are there waiting for him, and Jack and Kate ask each other if they're okay. Armed guards then lead the entire group to a giant, ancient, oriental-looking structure on the far side of a pond. What appear to be monks are wandering around, and Hurley says, "Guess we found the temple."
Good job, Hurley.
I wrote Oriental looking, but it did have more of like a Japanese sort of flavor. And then, of course, the Japanese guy is inside. But
Yeah.
the architecture looks Japanese to me.
Flash sideways number 2 in 2004 off the island. Jack is waiting in the customs line at LAX, and a man over the PA is paging him to the courtesy desk. Jack arrives, and the man apologizes and says that he should have met him at the gate. He says, "Mr. Shepard, I'm deeply sorry, but there seems to have been a mix-up involving the cargo you checked in Sydney. A coffin?"
Ruh-roh.
Jack is confused and says, "It's not here?" The Oceanic Airline employee says, "It appears it was never on the plane."
It appears that way.
Yeah. A visibly upset Jack says, "The funeral is in 2 hours. When is it getting here?" And the man replied, "Mr. Shepard, I can't tell you how deeply sorry we are, but we don't know when it will arrive because we're not exactly sure where it is."
Huh?
That's some fucked up shit.
Zoinks!
We lost your dad's body, dude.
What if it was just forever? What if your body's final resting place was lost luggage?
Going around the baggage claim forever.
Then your mortal remains being lost, your last gift to your family would be the massive lawsuit you could lay on the fucking airline.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yep.
I guess that's true.
At the temple, Jack, Kate, Hurley, and Jin are marched to the entrance with some of the others. A very serious-looking Asian man comes out to meet them, and in Japanese, he asks, "Who are you?"
Honestly, how do you know that he's serious? Because there was not one cock of any sort of gun.
Right. You said cock. I'm like,
That is
there's
a
not one
good-
cock that is out.
Shaft.
A skinny man with Benjamin Linus-looking glasses translates his words into English, and then Cindy steps out and says,
Oh,
"I know
shit.
who they are. They were on the first plane, Oceanic 815, along with me." In Japanese again, the man says, "They should not have come here. Seeing this place is unforgivable.
What?
Shoot them."
Ruh-roh.
Unforgivable.
So the skinny white dude says, "Shoot him." Jack screams, "Whoa, wait, no." And Hurley yells, "Jacob sent us." So in both English and Japanese, the others ask Hurley to repeat himself. And Hurley says, "I said Jacob sent us. He said you would help our friend." The others want Hurley to prove it. And they cock a few guns, so he knows that they are
Now
serious.
they're serious.
There they go.
Hurley tells him that Jacob is the one who gave him this guitar case. They want to know if he opened it, and Hurley says, "Maybe."
That was funny.
The man speaking Japanese steps forward and takes the case. He opens it, pulls out a large wooden ankh, and then breaks it in half while Hurley's yelling, "Dude!"
Dude.
The man extracts a piece of paper from inside the ankh and reads it. In Japanese, he says to the other, "Ask their names." Each of our originals give their names aloud. Saeed can't speak, so Jack says his name as well.
So
The
did they
man
finally
speaking-
make it onto a Jacob's list? Is that what that is?
Yeah,
there?
they're on a list finally.
Look at that.
Maybe.
Moving up.
The man speaking Japanese says, "Bring the injured Jira. We're going to the spring." Hurley says,
Spring?
"Hey, excuse me. I carried that case across the ocean and through time. So I want to know what that paper says." And the other, who is speaking English, replies, "The paper said that if your friend there dies, we're all in a lot of trouble."
Ruh-roh.
We're in deep doo-doo.
Flash sideways number 3, 2004, off the island. A custom agent says, "And what business are you in, sir?" Jin replies, "No English." He pulls out a letter with the logo from Mr. P's company on the outside. The agent looks at it and says the letter states that the watch is a business gift, so he needs to know what business. A stern and frustrated Jin, speaking in Korean, saying that he has an appointment to get to. The agent tells him to step back and then opens a bag full of fucking cash. American
Oh, shit.
cash money.
Uh-oh.
He immediately questions Jin, stating that anything over 10K has to be declared. When he checks the form, the agent sees that the money was not declared. In Korean, Sun asks Jin why he has all this money. He replies, "I will handle this." The customs agent takes Jin away. As they are leaving, the agent tells the other agent named Anne to take Sun to the waiting area. Anne complies, and as she's guiding Sun, she says, "Miss Pake, do you understand any English? Because if you do, if this is just a misunderstanding, you should speak up now. Do you understand me?" And Sun replies, "No. English."
Mm-hmm.
That pause just was great.
So, what is going on here in the alternate universe? Does she not speak English, or is she just not getting involved?
She's not
What do you
getting
think?
involved.
Not getting involved.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
2007 on the island. The Japanese man, the others, and the originals walk to the spring. The spring water is not clear and the translator questions why. The Japanese man says that he doesn't know what happened and then walks to the edge of the spring.
Here's a question. So clearly he's performing some kind of like ritual here, or he's about to, and he's donating his blood to the process and whatever. And obviously this spring is supposed to have some, I don't know,
Healing
magical properties or healing properties or like whatever. But yet you're just going to shrug off like, oh, I don't know why it's brown. Well, like maybe there's something wrong. Should you check that?
Yeah, and you're going to cut your hand and then stick it in filthy water? That's a bad idea.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Also excellent point. Yeah, anyways, I thought that was sort of strange. Like maybe we should be concerned about the gross water. I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, he cuts his palm with a knife and dips his bleeding hand into the spring and then asks, "Who was this done by?" The other translates and Jack replies, "My fault. I didn't shoot him, but it's my fault." The Japanese man says this will come with risks. Jack tells him to do what he has to do. The men remove Saeed's coveralls and drop him headfirst into the spring. The Japanese man flips an hourglass, and Jack wants to know what's happening, but he's ignored. Hurley wonders if unconscious people can hold their breath, and Jack says no. So Saeed begins to convulse, and the men continue to hold his head under the water.
If he drowns, he's not a witch.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, that is legitimately what they did to women. It's fucking
It's so fucking
psychotic.
stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack points out that Saeed is awake and they should stop drowning him. Again, he is ignored. The Japanese man stares at the hourglass and Jack yells, "I said let him up." And he moves towards the man, who busts out some martial arts moves and takes Jack down.
It was pretty awesome. It was like a 3-second takedown. Jack took one step.
Yeah.
The guy was like, "What? What? Out of there."
He
Fuck
even made
off,
those
you.
sounds. He was like,
Yeah.
He goes, what?
I've never taken martial arts. I think that would be really fucking fun.
They are fun.
Yeah.
I don't know, can my old joints take it though? A lot of punching and kicking and stuff.
You'd be surprised at when you start doing it how good your joints will get. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. As long as you do it correctly. I mean, I've done like kickboxing type stuff or other aerobics that use those throws, and you have to learn not to like lock your elbow or your knee or anything, because
Oh,
then
yeah,
you can do
yeah.
damage. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. You're right. They probably get healthier. Anyways,
yeah, you'd probably dig judo of all the ones out there, like either Aikido or judo. I think you'd like,
oh yeah.
because there's almost no
Judo's a lot of
striking
throwing.
in either of them. It's all basically counter motion where you
yeah.
use
That
somebody's
does sound
movement
fun.
against them. Like judo is, or Aikido is especially that.
Yeah,
There's
you
like
taught me that before.
no offense to it at all. It's all defensive and all sort of risk mitigate or harm mitigation. It's pretty cool.
That was cool.
See, what I liked, I did take it for about a month, was Krav Maga.
Oh,
yeah?
Krav Maga is just vicious.
That's right. That's why I liked it.
Oh my god.
If I'd have known that back in 97.
Yeah, Krav Maga is what they teach to Israeli special forces.
Yeah.
They
You
teach
mean
you
when
how to-
you were attacked?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
disarm people, both with
Yeah.
knives and guns. It's really practical.
They
Actually.
teach you to engage multiple people, where you have a lot of things like Taekwondo is about one-on-one combat. Krav Maga is about being able to survive and defeat multiple enemies simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually useful.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, since Hurley doesn't know Krav Maga, he just starts screaming, "You're not saving him! You're drowning him!" Saeed stops struggling just before the last grains of salt fall from the top of the hourglass. The others pull his body out. The Japanese man looks at him and says, "He died." That's fucking it. Seriously.
Of course, it says it in Japanese, but
right.
Still,
the
hell?
other, yeah, and then the other translates, "Your friend is dead."
A little.
Thank you for helping him. I guess I don't like. What?
Glad we rushed over.
Yeah.
This entire scene bothers me because it's like all they had to do was say, "Hey, here's the deal. Here's what we're gonna do. All right, we're gonna do this. It's gonna look like we're drowning him, but this is how you save him. You've seen enough crazy shit on this island. Trust us. Right. This is how. If he's gonna be saved, this is how it's gonna work." They don't do any of that. They just sit there like, you don't deserve an explanation. It's sort of, I don't know.
I almost figure that the Losties should just be accepting that almost at face value because they've been on the island so long. Oh, obviously this is some kooky ritual that we're gonna have to go through. I don't even know if I would have. I don't know if I would have worried as much. I mean, the guy was pretty much dead anyways, but still.
I think at the end, the Japanese guy should be like, "Haha, fooled you. He's been baptized."
Oh, dear.
So Jack runs over to inspect Saeed's pulse, and he immediately starts doing chest compressions. Kate tries to stop him, but Jack begins mouth to mouth and then continues the compressions. Kate grabs his arm and says, "Jack, he's dead. He's not coming back. Stop it." Jack relents, and the group looks on as Saeed's lifeless body lies near the spring.
This is another season 1, I guess, callback. Was it 2? When did Ethan nearly kill Charlie?
I think it was 1.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Initially, I brain is mush about this show sometimes now.
Yeah, it was 1.
Yeah, but remember when he was doing the chest compressions and then Charlie lay there, dead that way.
And then he started
beating on him.
Punching his fucking...
Yeah.
The sternum wasn't broken. It is now.
Yeah.
Not quite as dramatic, but still a callback of sorts to the early stuff.
Flash sideways, number 4, 2004, off the island. Saeed is waiting for his baggage and looking at a photo of Nadia. Kate, with the coat hiding her handcuffs, watches a woman put in the code for a security door. TSA officials point in Kate's direction, and she goes through the security door and up an escalator to a yellow cab station. Frogert fucking yells, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't think so, lady. There's a line. There's a line."
This guy's a phony.
Yeah, basically.
Shut up, Froger. It's the bottom of the power rankings for you.
Seriously.
Please go die.
And then arrow.
There's another arrow that just comes out of nowhere, hits him right there in the fucking LAX waiting for a cab.
Comes out of a cab.
Yeah.
It's like a drive-by flaming arrow situation.
Hits him in the chest, and you hear the guy in the cab go, and he peels off.
Kate apologizes to Frogert, and she gets in line behind Hurley. Hurley's speaking into his cell phone and says, "Outback is just a name. You're saying they own the entire Outback? That's just stupid." Kate spots the marshal who's barking orders at cops. He spots her too, and Kate jumps into a cab screaming, "Go! Go now!" The cabbie says he's already got a customer. Kate points a gun at his head and says, "I said go." The camera pans, and we see that the customer is Claire.
Claire.
She says, "Hey, what are you doing?" Kate tells the cabbie one more time to go.
No, she says,
"My baby."
Oh, no!
Oh, no. I was going to say, at that point, if somebody gets into a cab and you know they're running from somebody.
Just get out.
Yeah, exactly. They put a gun at you.
Just get out.
I know you're not going to think about this. You're not going to do this calculation at the time. Mm-hmm. But get out. That's just, if this ever happens, just get out of the fucking car.
Yep.
Just get out. There's traffic. There's jams. Like, you have the advantage in that situation. Just get out and scream. This crazy bitch has a gun.
No.
What's she gonna do?
Get out.
No,
Just get out
don't
and
do
run.
that. Just get out and run. If you say this crazy bitch has got a gun, then
might
they're
start
going to see their
shooting
choices
you.
start to diminish. Then they're going to shoot you because why the fuck not at that
I'd
point?
get out and go get back in line for the cabs.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This
Cabby's
one,
on
she
his
needed
own.
this.
Get somewhere.
What I meant was the cabbie. I meant the cabbie could just scream for a cop or something. Yeah, if you were Claire, just get out.
No.
Get
I'm
out.
saying as the cabbie.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
the cabbie could have
The way that you make sure that you're never coming back from this is you drive off with somebody with a gun to your head. You're right there
Yeah.
with people, and the second you take away the option of you being their means of conveyance, they've got to either jump in the driver's seat or they've got to run. Those two things would occur to them before they think to shoot you. If there's any
so
self-preservation
you say,
going on.
unless they're just really pissed, like I'm going to shoot you and then I'm going to take this car.
Well, then you were going to die anyway.
Right.
yeah,
You're
probably.
fucked.
Right. That's true too. All right. Well, now that we've done the deep dive into the cab situation,
Motivations of the cab driver, yeah.
Yes.
So the cabbie finally does pull away. And as he's pulling away, the marshal notices and starts screaming, "Stop that cab!"
Not happening.
You fucking idiot.
2007 on the island, Jack, Kate, Jen, and Hurley are sitting around the spring looking at Saeed's body. Cindy walks in, followed by older versions of Zach and Emma, who are bringing food and drink to everyone. And Other drags Sawyer's unconscious body into the room, followed by Miles. Kate wants to know what happened, and Miles says, "They jumped us in the jungle. He took 4 of them out before one of them hit him with a damn rock."
Not bad.
Well done, Sawyer. He must
Good
know Krav
job.
Maga.
Yeah,
That's
buddy.
right. There you go.
Kate tends to Sawyer, and Jack is looking away from them. The other, who has been translating the Japanese, approaches Hurley and says, "You, come with me." Hurley replies, "Come with you where?"
Bring out the gimp.
Oh my god.
The two men enter a room where the Japanese man is tending to some plants. Without turning from the plants, the man says, ask him what exactly Jacob said, what instructions he got. The other translates, and then Hurley replies, "He told me to come here, said you guys would save Saeed." The Japanese man says it was too late for him. And the other says he was beyond saving. Hurley says, "Wait a second." You can see the light bulb.
Yep.
Wait a second.
You're not translating anything I say to him, which means you totally understand me, dude.
Japanese dude.
Yeah. So
He does have a name. We will be able to stop calling him the Japanese guy at
Right.
some point.
In English, the man says, "Ver is so snobby.
Yeah.
I don't like the way English tastes on my tongue."
Really, I fucking loved that line. I thought that was
That's one
great.
of my favorite lines in this episode.
I agree with you, Ben. I thought it was one of the best lines of the episode. It just felt so authentic and amazing, and I just loved it. So, anyways.
So after he says his snobby thing about English, he goes back to speaking Japanese and asks when Jacob will be arriving at the temple. The other translates, and Hurley says, "What do you mean?" The other repeats the question, and Hurley replies, "I don't really think that's going to happen, man. Because he's dead." The Japanese man turns around to face Hurley, and you can see the absolute shock and terror
Oh, yeah.
on his face.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly, this is not a good situation.
Yeah.
And Hurley says, "What? You guys didn't know?"
You didn't get the memo? What the
Yeah,
hell?
it's clearly, it's like, it's worst case scenario. It's light the beacons. Like, this is it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in fact,
So
And in fact,
That's no oak horn.
cut to Jack as bells start ringing and chatter erupts amongst the others in the temple. The Japanese man yells, "Everybody to posts! On the walls! Prepare the ash!" The other translator translates, and people jump into action. One person loads a giant flare. Another starts pouring ash around the temple while a group barricades the door. The Japanese man is still yelling, "Evacuate the populace to north side! 10 meant to north side!" The translator translates.
I'm going to interject right here. He knows how to speak English. Time is of the essence.
Mhm.
He
Why are
needs
you
to get over
translating?
his bullshit with English right now and just fucking
He
bark
doesn't
the
want
orders.
his tongue to
Snobby
taste
motherfucker.
bad. Yeah.
God
Right.
damn.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun earlier, but like you gotta weigh. You gotta weigh your
Yeah.
choices here, bud.
Yeah. This is existential now, buddy. Like, just
okay. Yeah. Agreed.
So the translator translates and then says, "Send the warning, light it." And other lights the loaded flare, which explodes with red sparks overhead. Hurley says, "Guess we're not getting out of here, huh?" The translator replies, "This isn't to keep you in. It's to keep him out."
What?
Oh.
We can see that Hurley's a little frightened about this, and he says, "Him who?"
Ooh,
no
well.
him whom.
I
I was just thinking if he was going to be a real dick, he'd correct your English. No,
Correct your English in Japanese.
it's not him whom either, but it would be funny if he did that.
Right.
Inside the foot of the statue, Locke, not Locke, is dragging the bodies of Bram's group into a pile. Ben sits by the fire staring at him. And he says, "What are you?"
Good question, actually.
Yeah. The man in black replies, "I'm not a what, Ben. I'm a who." Ben says,
Whom?
yeah.
Japanese guy pops in. Whom?
Ooh, and it pops back out.
Ben says, "You're the monster." And the man in black replies, "Let's not resort to name calling."
Meanwhile, what the fuck? Ben Linus, like this moment in his life,
You are powerless.
Since he's a child, he's the only thing that he's wanted to do is like be on this island and be one and follow Jacob and be the leader and all of the things. And he is sitting here right now realizing after every single person I played and manipulated and murdered to get here, it's going to end by getting played myself. Are you fucking kidding me?
You reap what you sow.
I can't even imagine being him right now. That it just has to be the most devastating moment of his life thus far. And he's had a few.
Yep. So the man in black yanks a rock from Bram's chest and adds him to the body pile. Ben states matter-of-factly that he was used because the man in black couldn't kill Jacob himself.
I'm going to say the worst moment of his life was when he realized that the only pants that fit him on the island were pleated slacks.
That might be the worst moment in your life. I feel like that might make Ben cheery.
So Not Locke says, "I didn't make you do anything. You should have known. You should know he was very confused when you killed him." Ben doubts that Jacob ever felt confusion. And the man in black then says, arguably the most heartbreaking thing ever said in this show.
Yeah.
"I'm not talking about Jacob. I'm talking about John Locke. Do you want to know what he was thinking while you choked the life out of him, Benjamin?
Oh, God.
What the last thought that ran through his head was? I don't understand. Isn't that just the saddest thing you ever heard?
Yes.
But it's fitting in a way because when John first came to the island, he was a very sad man, a victim, shouting at the world for being told what he couldn't do, even though they were right. He was weak and pathetic and irreparably broken. But despite all of that, there was something admirable about him. He was the only one of them that didn't want to leave. The only one who realized how pitiful the life he'd left behind actually was." Ben takes all of this in, and then he asks the man in black what he wants. And Not Locke replies, "Well, that's the great irony here, Ben, because I want the one thing that John Locke didn't. I want to go home."
Home?
What?
Scene ends with a disturbingly intense John Locke stare.
He is killing it as the man in black.
Yeah, Terry O'Quinn
He
is
was right,
doing
though.
a fantastic job.
He's because think of all the iterations of this character he's had to play from that he just described. We don't have to cover it again. But then also, in season 5, yes, he's the man in black, but he's still hiding it. And now he gets to just be the man in black. And I just think he's killing it.
Yeah, he was doing
Instead
really
of
great
Lock,
job.
not Lock, can we just call him Unlock?
Yes. Absolutely.
All right.
From now on.
Inside the temple, Hurley leans in to whisper into Saeed's ear, and he says, "Goodbye, dude. If you ever want to talk, I'm around." Fucking love Hurley.
I talk to dead people.
He is the best.
Hurley then looks to Miles, who has a strange look on his face, and questions why. Miles replies, "Nothing."
What's going on here? Think he's
You don't talk to dead
Miles
people.
can't hear
I
him.
do.
yeah, right. That's the thing. Is Miles is like, why can't I? Why am I not having the flashes? I think is what this is. Yeah.
Kate is tending to Sawyer on the other side of the spring. He wakes up and she says, "Hey." Sawyer wants to know where they are, and Kate tells him. He says, "We got caught by the others again?" She said, "Yeah, only this time they're protecting us, I think." Sawyer says, "Course they are." He sits up and touches his wounded forehead. Kate, obviously referring to Juliet, says, "I'm so sorry." Sawyer stares at Jack. Kate sees this and reminds him that Jack was just trying to help. Sawyer says, "I ain't gonna kill Jack. He deserves to suffer on this rock just like the rest of us."
Jeez.
Damn right.
Sawyer's in a place, rightfully so.
Yeah. Flash sideways number 5, 2004, off the island. Jack is standing by the Oceanic Lost and Found, talking on the phone with his mother. He's telling her to let people know that there will be no service without him, and he'll call if he hears anything. He hangs up, and a previously unseen Locke asks, "What did you lose?" "They lost one of my bags. What about you?"
My dad.
Jack
whole
doesn't think
fucking
Locke would
coffin.
believe him if he told the truth, but then he does anyway, and he says, "They lost my father. He died in Australia a couple of days ago, and I flew down to get him." Locke extends his condolences. Jack says that his dad is somewhere in transit, which means they have no idea where the fuck he is. Locke doesn't see a reason why they should know. Jack says something about having a tracking system, but Locke says, "No, I'm not talking about the coffin. I mean, how could they know where he is? They didn't lose your father. They just lost his body."
Ooh.
True.
Jack seems to be picking up what Locke's putting down, and he nods at him. Locke
Deep
smiles
Thoughts
and says,
by John
Yeah.
Locke.
Locke smiles and says, "Either way, your story beats the hell out of mine. All that was in my suitcase was a bunch of knives." Jack
What?
wonders if Locke is a salesman, and he says,
No,
"Yeah,
I'm a
something
psychopath."
like that."
I'm a serial
I
killer.
Just to say. Locke wishes Jack luck in finding the coffin, and Jack wishes Locke luck in finding his knives. Locke starts to wheel himself away when Jack stops him to ask why he's in a wheelchair.
Because I can't walk.
Right?
Oh, you're a spinal surgeon, dickhead. You should be able to figure this one out.
Well, he doesn't know that part yet, but
Right.
yeah.
Locke stares at him and Jack apologizes, explaining that he's just asking because he's a spinal surgeon. Locke tells him not to worry about it because his condition is irreversible.
Is it?
Jack hands him a business card and says, "Nothing is irreversible. If you ever
Virginity.
want to consult."
Ew. Virginity is a social construct. It actually doesn't exist. So
I
correct.
understand that.
It's not reversible if it doesn't exist. The hymen,
Why do
I
hymens
guess you could
exist?
go with that.
Why do hymens
Like-
exist?
It's a
Nothing is
protective layer.
irreversible.
A high man
If you-
exists because a low man exists.
Oh my God.
Ah,
Christy's ready to move on.
deep thoughts. I've been.
Mm-hmm.
No, not at all. Shallow bullshit
Yeah.
by Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Jack is still talking at this point. So he says to Locke, "If you ever want to consult, just give me a call. It's on the house." Locke takes his card and thanks him. And he says, "Jack Shepherd, I'm John Locke." Jack says, "It's nice to meet you, John." John replies in kind as Jack holds the door open for him. And again, Locke thanks him and Jack says, "You're welcome."
Wow, isn't
Very
this
nice exchange
interesting?
there?
Yeah.
2007 on the island, Richard is sitting on the beach when he sees the flare light up the sky.
The beacons are
asks-
lit!
Yeah.
The beacons are lit!
Yeah. Lapidus asks, "What the hell is that?" And Richard looks fucking terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never seen him. You've never seen him shaken until
No.
Yeah.
now. He's
That's
been
why it was like-
suspicious. He's been unnerved, maybe, but we've never seen Richard fucking Alpert scared.
Yeah.
before this. Yeah.
So lots of incredibly serious rifles are cocked and pointed at Unlock as he and Benjamin Linus exit the foot and approach. Richard screams, "Don't shoot him! Don't shoot him!" Lapidus says, "I'm seeing it, but I'm still not believing it." Unlock walks up to Alpert and says, "Hello, Richard. It's good to see you out of those chains." What?
He was a slave.
Oh.
Alpert is stunned and says, "You?" The man in black replies,
We did talk
"Me."
about Egyptian ships in the last episode, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're thinking? Maybe that's how he got to the island. That makes him real fucking old.
Bro.
We will circle back to all of this, obviously,
Oh,
when
he
we
was
get to
probably
this
on the-
episode.
On the Black Rock.
Oh, is
No.
that what you
Far
think?
Long before that.
You think
I feel
long
like it
before
had to
the
be
Black?
before
Well,
that.
do we even
Yeah.
know? Oh yeah, we know the Black Rock showed up in like 1874 or
1800s,
something
yeah.
because we've had that date. Yeah, but you think he's ancient Egyptian?
I thought it wasn't the 1600s that the Black Rock was.
Well,
I
he
thought
kind
that was
of walks like an Egyptian, so you never know.
No, no. Here, Ben, I'll get you the date.
No, it's the 1800s. I
yeah,
remember because they
it
had
is.
dynamite in the
Yeah.
1600s.
That is true.
Let's see. Land on the island.
Black Rock.
I think it's like 1870, so 1867. Yeah, and remember, because we know, like, the producers had said every point in time that they traveled to is like a significant point in time on the island, and we do see the clip where, like, the Black Rock it hasn't landed yet, but
Right.
that's the conversation between Jacob and the Men in Black. But yeah, so Christy thinks he was on there. Jacob, you're thinking Jacob.
Jacob.
Derek, you're thinking that maybe he was ancient Egyptian. It would kind of
Yeah.
explain the casting with the like natural eyeliner he has, which is a very Egyptian looking thing. Anyways,
Yeah.
we'll circle back and we'll get to it. And it's a great episode. His story is amazing. But it's unnerving to see. It's as unnerving to see Richard Alpert scared as it was the first time you saw Benjamin Linus giddy, and it was like scary.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe we're using the words chains too literally? Maybe he's just like the yoke of Jacob is off you now. You don't
Exactly.
know it. But
Could be
I'm-
that.
You know, yeah.
Oh,
Ooh.
I think it could be either one, which is why the writing is fun because it leaves it
Yeah.
open to have a podcast.
That's what they were thinking.
Of course.
so the stunned Richard Alpert says, "You," and the man in black replies, "Me." And then he knocks Richard unconscious with a throat punch.
How does that work?
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would
do not
choke
know.
you, but
It would choke
I don't know
you.
how it would knock you unconscious. You have to hit the back of your head to be
You just
knocked
be sitting there
unconscious.
gasping for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
probably.
you hit your throat hard enough to knock you unconscious, you're dead.
It would kill you.
Yeah.
It would kill you.
Your trachea is broken.
because you
Yes,
could
exactly.
you could break the trachea. You could rupture or tear the esophagus, all of that stuff.
Ben Linus stares with both awe and fear on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Unlock looks at him, son, Lapidus, and the rest and yells, "I'm very disappointed in all of you."
What?
Oh, okay. Okay,
Why?
Dad, thanks. He then just picks up Alpert, throws him
Yep.
over his shoulder, and walks away, passing by the corpse of John Locke.
Well.
Okay.
Oh yeah, exactly. Okay.
Wow. I'm
what do we
disappointed.
do now?
I
Disappointed
mean,
in you.
that was kind of my whole thing, too. And my parents were like, "Oh, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed." Okay. I don't feel bad about that. At the temple, the translator approaches the originals, her looking at Saeed, and he asks for Jack Shepherd, saying that they need to speak in private. Jack tells him, "Just say what you're going to say or go away." And the man replies, "I don't think you're understanding me here. I'm asking politely. You either get up and come with us on your own, or I'll have you dragged out.
Because I'll
Because
go
we are
martial
going
arts
to
on
have
you.
this conversation, and it is not going to happen here.
Alrighty
Jack
then.
stands up like a tough guy and says, "Is that right?"
Mm-hmm.
A tussle breaks out while Jack tries to fight two others, and it's clear he also does not know Krav Maga. However, Hurley and the translator's attention is definitely not on the fight. You see their faces are just absolutely shocked, and Hurley screams, "Jack!" Everyone stops and turns to see fucking zombie Saeed slowly stirring to life. The translator says, "Oh my God." And Saeed says, "What happened?"
Brains.
Lost title screen, end of
He gets up and goes,
episode.
Then you hear Carl. Carl.
He's not Zombie Saeed. He's Jesus Jirah.
like Jeffrey the giraffe.
Alrighty. Well, that's it. That is the end of the 2-part opening of the last season of this lovely show. Shall we do some fun facts? I promise not to Gilgamesh you.
Yes.
Okay. Not going to read you the story, but we are going to talk about Fear and Trembling by Soren Kierkegaard. And hopefully, as I give you these facts, it will be obvious as to why. So this work was published in 1843 under the pseudonym Johannes di Silentio. It was praised as one of the linchpins of the existentialist movement. So the title refers to a line from the Bible, which says, "Continue to work out your salvation with fear and trembling."
Fuck you.
Yeah. And that is a line from Philippians. Is that how you say it? Or Philippines? I don't fucking know. Which they think
Philippians?
Yes, I think you're right. That's right. Which is a reference to a Psalm 55:5, which says, "Fear and trembling came upon me." And then everything went white. So
everything went white when I banged the warhead.
According to Kierkegaard, a human thinker is passionately interested in the boundaries of his or her thinking faculty and is committed to the ultimate paradox of thought, which is to want to discover something that thought itself cannot think. For example, gods. In Fear and Trembling, it basically recounts the 3-day journey of the biblical Abraham to Mount Moriah, where God demanded that he go to sacrifice his son Isaac as an offering. Kierkegaard spends the book examining how Abraham could possibly be willing to do such a thing. He wanted to understand the anxiety that must have been present in Abraham during the binding of Isaac. Abraham had a choice to complete the task or to refuse to comply with God's orders. And he resigned himself to the 3.5-day journey and the loss of his son. Kierkegaard suggests that it's incomprehensible Abraham's faith is incomprehensible to him because he didn't question God, he didn't complain or anything. He was just up and willing to murder his child. And religious people see this as a beautiful story. It's absolutely insane, like how weird that is. But so
they all sacrifice their own children in a sense. I mean, the ones they try to brainwash into that shit, you know.
Yeah, but I don't know that it's fair to call it brainwash. It's indoctrination, and they themselves have been indoctrinated. It's different than brainwashing because brainwashing has a purpose. And I understand religion is full of con men. Anywhere where they teach you to have faith and don't criticize stuff, it's gonna be full of con men, of course. But what I mean is like the general public who are religious, it's just the world. They've been taught the world is like this. And they haven't been exposed to other stuff.
Does that make it distinct from brainwashing, though? I thought brainwashing was brainwashing either way, regardless of intent or context.
I guess so. Maybe. I don't know what the actual official definition would be. I'm saying from my perspective, I would feel like that brainwashing was like, I'm teaching you something for a purpose, like a cult leader, like trying to get something out of you. And I know I'm saying, yes, I understand leaders in religion are like that. But when you're talking about parents, I think it's just, this is how I was raised. This is what I was told is real. I've never questioned it. I don't know. I don't know if I blame people for raising their kid in religion, as long as well, it's hard to know. We know some people who are raised in cults and like smaller cults, not the massive ones that we call religion. But anyways, his book presents us with 4 alternative paths that Abraham could have taken, all of which might have rendered Abraham more understandable, but would make him something less than the father of faith. Kierkegaard asserts that there is no way that we can understand Abraham or what he did. Interesting thing I think about that is like people that will go, well, there's no way we can understand it, so obviously it's okay. And I'm like, well, no, if you can't understand, if it's incomprehensible, maybe it's because it's like a disgusting thing to do. But anyways, so the paradox in Fear and Trembling deals with the contradiction inherent in the religious who must make the leap of faith by the virtue of absurd. In Abraham's case, he believed that God had commanded him to sacrifice Isaac and had therefore no rational grounds for his expectation that he would get Isaac back, yet he did it anyway. And that's often an apologetics thing. If you ask sometimes a person to explain this, like, why is it okay for Abraham to be willing to do this? And I was like, well, he knew God would step in. I'm like, well, then it's not really a test then, is it?
Isn't it still murder?
And why would a supreme being want a puny little human to do that anyway? What's the point?
No, not because none of it makes sense. Because the point was, I mean, they did all kinds of, it was a blood sacrifice cult for a long time. They gave burnt offerings and things to God. It's all in the Old Testament. Just moved on to human sacrifice, and that's what Jesus was. It's all very strange shit. But let me get more to the stuff that ties into us. As to not Gilgamesh you. If you want to read the work, go the fuck ahead. But essentially at the end, the conclusion that Kierkegaard comes to after examining these other paths he thinks that Abraham could get to is essentially because he was a religious person. He sort of hedges and essentially is like, you just can't understand what he did and therefore godly.
God's will.
I mean, essentially that's sort of where it ends up. Although he makes a very big point of saying that faith requires passion. And passion is something that we can't learn and we have to experience it ourselves or we won't understand it, which is basically like, well, I've had experiences with God, so clearly you don't get it, is essentially where that ends. I happen to think faith is just the excuse people give when they don't have like a rational reason. But what do you think as far as the theme that we have going on here, which is obedience and forgiveness and things like that, while we have gone through Saeed's maybe death? He was having his existential moment. And so, of course, we come across like one of the fathers of existentialism. And I just wonder, did you like seeing Saeed like that in the end or in those moments, reflecting on the bad things that he did? Or I thought he was being a little hard on himself. I understand what he did, but there's been a lot of good in Saeed too, and a lot of growth, which I think is like the only thing you can ask from a person. So I don't know. What do you think about the existential crisis? Or you can bitch about Abraham too, if you'd like.
Let's see. The existential thing. Nobody knows what happens next, right? Nobody really knows. So the natural thing is, as that moment approaches, as you feel that coming on, there's going to be a natural fear that's going to overtake you. At that point, you're going to start questioning everything. Have my decisions led me to a place that I'm going to go to someplace bad? All of these decisions that I've made
happens. Yeah.
If you believe that, but my guess is that the closer you get to the door, that door shutting, the more open you become to all of these things. I think everybody in their last moments is probably very, very religious or very spiritual.
What? That's like like saying there's no atheists in foxholes. That's totally wrong. I won't be. No.
Okay.
You might be. I mean, that's fine. But I think that's way off to say everyone will do that. No.
I think everyone at some point, as long as they feel that their death is coming, are gonna question things, because there is that fear of what is next.
Oh,
right? So,
no, I don't have that fear. I don't like the idea of not existing. I'm not.
That terrifies me.
That doesn't sit comfortable with me. I don't like the idea.
I would rather it be something where you go an afterlife or reincarnation or something. Cease to exist. Ugh.
Not existing is that's the most comforting thing I can think of.
Well, that's what's going to happen. So good for you.
Well, you won't know.
I don't sit comfortable. I don't sit.
All your memories are gone. There's nothing.
There's no such thing as absolute knowledge. You're correct. But I'm about as certain as I can be about anything that there's no such thing as an afterlife, except in fiction. That's how I believe that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure,
well, then so I don't have fear around it. So I don't. What I don't like is I have a problem wrapping my brain around the concept of no longer existing, and sometimes
it's like
the weight of it.
Infinity.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Because sometimes the weight of it is you think I'm going to have this blip, this 80-year moment, and billions and billions and billions of years are going to just continue to happen until, sun death. And it's just sort of wow. It makes you feel pretty insignificant. But at the same time, that has
why?
Well, and that's what I'm saying. That's why people make up stuff, because they can't take it. But at the same time, it can also be a freeing thing to have a little nihilistic streak and be like, yeah, you know what?
Yes.
If it doesn't make any fucking difference, then how about I'm just here to enjoy my life and do good? And that can be freeing. And so that's how I feel. And that's why I don't fear the idea of an afterlife or I don't know anything. I'm like, no, I'm just going to enjoy being here, because pretty fucking sure it's lights out. And then I'm never thought of again.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the way I think of it. There's, if you think of time and space and all that stuff as an ocean, you ride one small wave and that's it. That's it.
Blip.
That's
barely even a blip.
A ripple
in what this universe is.
Cool. If that's the way it actually works, that's fucking fascinating.
Yeah. Well, there's not really evidence to say it's not the way it works.
And think you're either here or you're not. You're either lucky or you were certain. One of those things. It was either just complete chance or it was certainty, and you have always been here and you will always be here, one after another.
I don't know how that sounds like a false dichotomy to me. I don't know how those are the only choices, but those are some choices. Getting into science fiction shit and True Detective, time is a flat circle. There are schools of thought out there in physics for a lot of this stuff, but it's not things that have been have enough evidence to say I have confidence in that, the way I have confidence in the fact that there's no afterlife, because everything about me is in my brain, and when my brain dies, what? Yeah. It's just gonna magically be in some other place? No.
It's not your brain, it's your soul. Not your brain.
There's no such thing as a soul.
The soul.
What did you say, Christy? You like to think?
I liked have any of you ever seen the Dave Chappelle episode of Inside the Actor's Studio?
Ooh.
I don't think so.
Yes,
No.
I think I have seen that, but a long time ago. This was done, over a decade. Yeah, okay.
So when James Lipton asked, one of his questions I think that he asked most people is, what do you think God will say when you get to the pearly gates?
Ooh, okay.
And he asked Dave Chappelle, and Dave Chappelle's response was, well, you were wrong, but come on in anyway.
Yeah,
and James Lipton was like, you don't believe in God? And Chappelle was like, no.
He's a Muslim now.
Well, I
don't remember him. Yeah, I don't remember him being an atheist, but I'm pretty sure he's a practicing Muslim now. I'm going to type that in. Because he always could have. I just wrote, is Dave a Muslim? Good Lord. Figure it out, Google.
Is.
Yes, he is. He converted later after that episode. But same could go for that if you are a Muslim and worshiping the wrong God or vice versa or whatever. But yeah, I don't have a problem if people need to believe in an afterlife or whatever else. I don't particularly care. I just don't want you to make it like a law. I just don't see any evidence for it. And I would say I feel as confident that I'm going to wake up to gravity every day that I do that there's no such thing as after death. And it doesn't really bother me. I just, it sucks, man. I'd rather live longer. I don't know if I could deal with immortality. I'd probably go insane.
Yeah, I don't want that.
A couple thousand years would be interesting. Yeah, that'd be right.
Crazy.
Like vampire years.
Man, the compound interest would be incredible. At least,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I certainly, but again, then what the fuck is existence? I got to be here at all. I could say an absurd sentence like, "How many people didn't get to be here?" Wait, what? That doesn't make sense.
No.
But
unless you live in Alabama.
Well, I
it
think
sucks
that
like when a baby
to,
is born dead. It's like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
And those are examples all the time. Like that's nature. It happens.
I know.
They're horrific things because we happen to have the brain capacity to care about that. Some animals don't. Some other animals don't. Some do. Mammals in particular. Babies, yeah. But yeah, it's a fact of life.
Strawberry.
What else were you going to say, Christy? You were trying to say something.
Oh, I was going to say, getting back to Saeed. Yeah. If you lived a life like the life that he lived, then clearly there's probably going to, and you were a religious person, then clearly there would be some real fear, What
I suppose that depends.
He needed to always have a fucking girlfriend or a wife.
Well, yeah.
As long as he had a woman around, he wasn't
being bad.
He wasn't being a bad person.
He wasn't being useful either.
I think it would depend on I think it would depend on your theology, Christy. I'm going to say, admittedly, I don't know enough about the Muslim faith to talk about punishments or repentance.
Yeah, I don't either. So that's a good point.
But I do know, with Christianity, you could be the worst fucking human being your entire life and get saved and go straight to heaven and be very certain about that. Yeah. So
that's why Christianity in that last 30 seconds, then it's fucking fine. Which is stupid.
That's why Christianity is immoral. But I'm sure, yes, I guess there's got to be some faiths where if you were in Saeed's, and maybe that's the case, is that he's Muslim on the show, and so maybe that's what they're getting at. But yeah, I just I thought that the existential author going with his existential little trip he's having so far in season 6 was another. That's something I would call an Easter egg, where the authors pop this in there and they're like, ha ha ha, look at that.
So Christianity does. Christianity is it's the emotional comfort of people. It's the same deal as you think of whatever you want, do whatever you want, as long as that is by the end, as long as you tell me I'm right. That's it. You can do anything else, but if the last thing you do, if you tell me I'm right, then you are saved.
Well, yeah, that's at its core. It's an authoritarian design. That's why so many of them fall for things like Trump, because
so desperate.
Because they're primed for that. I understand those Christians more. The ones I don't understand all the time are the ones I'm friends with, which are the liberal Christians. And I don't know, they're just good people. I don't know why they need the story, because they're already living a good life, and it seems like the conservative Christians are always like, I need daddy to tell me what to do because I'm so bad inside.
Because the indoctrination says
it's still there.
Even if you are a good person, if you don't believe, if you don't accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, then you cannot get into heaven. And this is an argument that I had with my father. I'm like, look, I'm not like a saint, but I'm a pretty good person. I do try to go out of my way to help people, not because I think I'm going to get a reward, but because I just like fucking helping people. It makes me feel good. So
I like helping people too.
So if the only thing keeping a person decent is the expectation of divine reward, well, then that person is a piece of shit.
Yeah, you're not a good person.
If it's the
only
thing.
Imagine back in those days, a lot of religion was to keep people from doing crazy shit.
No, it was to keep people doing exactly what the church wanted them to do. It wasn't to keep them from doing crazy
power.
shit.
But it's not just,
it's to keep them doing the crazy shit they wanted them to do.
No, it became that over time. If you read the Old Testament, it's a fucking book of life instructions. That's why they don't eat pork, don't eat shrimp. It was life skills for people. It was what they understood at the time. It became organized religion has become a thing of control, but there wasn't somebody just sitting in a room going, I'm going to create a religion.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff
that L. Ron Hubbard did. I mean, that's Scientology. But at this time, I mean, it had rules, it had laws, it has immoral laws, it has instructions for treating your slaves. But it was basically just the social contract of the time, which always included mythology because the people didn't fucking understand anything. And when a swarm of locusts came in, they can't be like, well, that happens just about on a 7-year cycle. And I was like, fucking God hates me. Like, that's what happened. So, yes, I mean, what you're talking about, Ben, is what it has became. We're talking the Dark Ages, and then still is today in many ways. But the creation of those religions, there was a time where there was just, do you know how many people there were walking around talking about they were the fucking savior, preaching and having cults and things like that? The Jesus one just stuck and then became a tool, like at the Council of Nicaea. And we're off track. But anyways.
Wow. Gilgamesh, nothing. We went Old Testament on that shit.
Ooh, shit. All right, let's do some best and worst moments. We'll start with Derek this time.
Okay. Well, the best moment was I had a couple of them. I liked when Kate got away from the marshal.
Indeed.
Knocked his ass in the sink. But I also liked whenever Saeed came back to life. He ain't getting to heaven yet.
So what do you think? Do you think is he zombie Saeed?
No,
what happened? Is that how Ben Linus was healed?
Yes, I think it's the same spring or whatever. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. All right.
And the worst moment or saddest moment was finding out, that John Locke's last thought when Ben killed him. I don't understand. Sucks.
Yeah, that was my worst moment as well. I'll talk about it in a second. My best moment, I had a quote. I'm very disappointed in all of you. I fucking love it. I'm loving the Man in Black. You guys are hating him. I'm loving him. I'm loving Terry O'Quinn. He's like the new Ben to me. He's the wrench, and he's throwing it in there. He's got his agenda, and he's going to carry it out, and I'm finding it interesting, even if I sort of hate him. But I am loving the fact that he's being embodied by Locke. Say again?
In the beginning, I didn't like Ben at all, but he grew on me, so maybe the Man in Black will.
Gotcha. All right. And then the worst moment, fuck. All John Locke ever fucking wanted was understanding and to fit in and to be one with the island and to know the secrets and be a part of something. And this motherfucker's last thought was, I don't understand. That is the saddest goddamn thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Wow. Wow. Is all I have to say about that. Christy, how about you?
Yeah, the worst moment for me, besides killing Saeed, was the whole part of the Man in Black talking about how pathetic John Locke was before he got to the island.
Yeah.
Agree with everybody on that. For me, the best moment was fucking zombie Saeed.
Ben, what about you? Are you a fan of Zombie Saeed?
I had three best. The first one was, then they're all quotes. Okay. The first one was when Locke said, they didn't lose your father, they just lost his body.
Okay.
The other one, the second one is, I don't like the way English tastes on my tongue.
Yes.
And the other one is when Saeed wakes up and says, what happened?
Zombie Saeed.
Zombie Saeed.
So yes, you're down with it. I got it.
My worst moment was Froger saying, whoa, I don't think so, lady. There's a line. That's it.
Got it. Great. I don't know why I think I was waiting for 3 of those too. Excuse me. Let's do some power rankings. I'm just going to start with my own this time. Let's see. Third from the bottom, speaking of the devil, I have Frogert there because he was still alive and now he's bitching. I have the Marshal in the second worst because, I mean, really, man, you're like attacking women in bathrooms now? My God. And at the top, I wrote temple drowners because, guys, what are you doing? Why are you just holding a man underwater while he's apparently drowning? Now, I get it. The big reveal, he survived, but I can't. What?
They're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Exactly. And that's why they're on the top of my bottom.
Dirty
Giggity.
spring water.
I should believe it was Flavor Aid, really, but
that's
Jim
true.
Jones was, yeah.
That's true. That is a fun fact. Bottom of the top, I have Sawyer, same place as I had him last week, I guess. He's lost Juliet again, but he's not actually going to fly into a murderous rage and go after Jack. He seems to be trying to handle it. And he is, again, still a powerful, like, protector character. Again, I have Hurley as second best, same as I did last week, for all the same reasons. He and Sawyer are kind of like, I don't know, the daddies of the group now. And at the top, I have the Man in Black. I love him. I love him. I think so much of it is credit just to Terry O'Quinn's performance as he becomes the Man in Black, obviously, as opposed to undercover. And I love the wrenches that he's throwing into the show, even if he is the evil force. I'm going to fuck Miles, mostly because Christy mentioned in the other episode how like nice he was, and I had already had my other rankings done, but he continued it this week, and so I'm going to give him a reward fuck for growing as a person. And then I'm going to kill the Japanese guy whose name we will fill in later. And the only reason, like, I loved him. I loved his lines. It's not that I don't like the character. I'm just really mad at the way he handled that entire situation with Saeed. Like, that could have been much easier and not so ridiculous. Although, of course, we wouldn't have had the drama. But it's still, I'm just like, bro, what are you doing? Ben, how about you?
I only had one worst, and that was the Japanese guy. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, the fact that he was, when they knew it was time to light the beacons and get everybody to their posts and all that, he's still fucking screaming in Japanese. And it's like, come on, like, how dick is that? Third best,
I've got eat a mint if it doesn't taste good. Shit.
Exactly. Third best, I've got Locke, not the Man in Black, but actual Locke, again, because like really just his conversation with Jack in the office or whatever in the airport. I thought that was really
sideways Locke.
Sideways Locke, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
I just thought that was really like that's what Jack needed in that moment.
Yeah.
And he was able to give that to him, and that was kind of, selfless of him, and it kind of sets up a little sort of like, hey, I'm a spinal surgeon, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was kind of that
Jack noticed the same thing, and so he's like, well, let me tit for tat you.
Yeah.
Fix your spine.
Second place, I got Hurley, and in first place, I actually have Jack for the first time probably in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sideways Jack.
Sideways Jack. Yeah, exactly. I mean, but that's really the same. I think it's kind of the same Jack in this case. Jack's always
Island Jack's pretty tortured right now. He's real. Yeah, he's dealing with the fallout of being wrong.
I'm gonna kill Frogert.
Okay.
She had a gun. Who said, hey, lady, there's a line. She could have just turned around and fucking executed him right there. And
you don't have to wait
crowds go wild.
Yeah.
If it was an HBO show, she probably could have done that.
Yeah.
Shut
And
up,
I'm going to
you.
fuck Kate because, yeah, like you said, when they do her hair like that in this scene and with her, you know, whooping ass and putting the Marshall up against the marble, that was pretty nice.
Oh, a Marshall on the marble. All right.
Marshall on the marble.
Derek, what about you?
So my third worst was the Japanese guy. Because
we're all mad at him.
Well, like when they first started, he goes, "You should never
Racist.
see this. Kill him." Yeah,
Yeah, well.
Shoot him and ask questions later.
I don't hate him because he's Japanese. I hate
Of
him
course
because
I
not.
don't care if he
Nah.
was purple. I mean, Barney. I hate Barney.
Nobody
anyway.
thought anybody hated anybody for being Japanese.
Ben just jokingly said racists. So,
Oh, I didn't hear him.
But
Yeah.
he jokingly said it, so he wasn't serious.
Okay.
And Shirley, don't call me Shirley.
There were no
Don't call
guns.
me Shirley.
Okay, so second worst is Frogert.
Oh, Frogert.
And then the worst is the Marshall, just because the way he treated Kate and he got what he deserved. Marshall into the marble.
There we
That's
go.
right.
My third best was Sideways Locke for giving Jack some good advice about his dad.
All right.
Second best was Sideways Jack, for that same conversation, offering to help Locke. And my best is Hurley, because he listened to Jacob and brought Saeed to the temple, and looks like it may have saved him.
It does.
And I'm going to kill Frogert with a drive-by flaming arrow in the taxi
Yes.
line.
You're the one that was going.
And I'm going to fuck Kate with her nice hair.
Yeah, that hair. It's amazing. Christy, what do your rankings look like?
So at the bottom of the bottom, I have Ben Linus. He's just become kind of pathetic, actually. In the middle of the bottom, I have the Japanese guy because he's a snob.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst of the worst is the man in black for me. I know that you like him, but I'm not a fan.
We've been through this before. It's fine.
She
I know.
never liked
It's-
Ben
it's
Linus,
fine.
so
It's fine.
Yep, that's fine. Top three, Saeed is at the bottom of my top three.
Mhm.
I mean, he came back to life, man.
He
That's
did.
pretty fucking cool.
That?
He
So-
did.
In the middle, I have Miles. I like that he stayed back with Sawyer, and did everything that he could to be helpful to Sawyer.
Indeed.
And then at the top of the top, I've got Hurley.
Hurley is killing it this
Yeah.
season so far.
He's just awesome. I'm gonna do a Hurley Miles fuck, and I'm
Ooh.
gonna kill the man in black.
That would be a really funny threesome. They'd be like quipping at each other while they're banging you. Maybe they could invite some ghosts.
You just hear Hurley going, dude.
dude, sweet, dude,
Sweet. Whoa, dude.
Oh my
Dude.
God.
sweet.
Here comes my secret mayo.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
What?
Do you not remember his secret mayo from last season?
No.
Think of the
but-
sandwiches, and he made the
Yeah,
secret mayo, the garlic
sandwiches
mayo.
going out.
Oh yes, yes.
Yes, well, this time I was referring to his semen.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah.
It exploded and everything went white.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Down the shaft.
Christy, who are you killing?
Oh, the man in black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she already killed him.
Bye. Ben!
What?
God damn.
Could you please update us on what the power rankings look like after season 6, episode 2, LAX part 2? Have we sorted out the ties?
We have, yes. Third from the bottom. We've got the Japanese guy with negative 12 points. You fucking racists.
That is not.
Second from the bottom, we've got Frogert, negative 15 points.
Legit.
You anti-lactose fuckers.
Oh my God. Why
And
are
at
we
the bottom,
anti-lactose?
Frogert.
Because yogurt,
Oh, 'cause we
yogurt,
killed
yogurt,
Frogert?
milk.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
And at the
I'm
bottom,
slow.
we've got the Man in Black. And with negative 16 points. And I will say, I have not contributed it at all to the Man in Black being there. I have.
Me neither.
I think
Oh, so
this
it's just
is
me against Christy right
Oh,
now.
Christy.
it's all
Yep.
Christy. She is her hatred is outweighing your love for him. Like
I'm more neutral right
Considerably.
now.
He is at the bottom, and she is just gunning for him. So he
That's
has some
fine.
work to do.
Yeah, I've been more neutral towards him right now.
Yeah. I mean, I just find him entertaining.
Figure
I
out.
will bring you to my side. I don't know, really. I mean, my side could change, too. I just like it now.
Hasn't happened in a while, but we've got a Dr. Bronze again.
Oh!
Jack in third place with
Sideways
10
Jack.
points. Yeah. And for the silver with 12 points, we have Kate.
Oh, silver doesn't rhyme with, or it doesn't, there's no alliteration with like fugitive. Although the silver fugitive does sound kind of cool. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I guess so. And in first.
You really took a second to think about it. That's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, I guess. Besides Napoleon, I'm training to be a cage fighter. And in first place for gold, 37 points, Mayor of Islandtown, Hurley.
Yay,
Considerably. He's 3 times further than the next in line, Kate there. He's killing it. Good for you, Mayor. Oh, I like to see
Mayor with your mayo.
it. Yeah. Mayor with your mayo. I should have got a bigger laugh for that. Hopefully the listeners, like somebody spit out their coffee or something. Shall we do some final impressions?
Let's do it.
Yes.
All right, let's start with Ben.
Let's see. To be honest, I found a lot of this episode kind of silly.
Okay.
The stuff that happened in the like at LAX, that was all well and good. Like I like some of that. This whole thing with the temple so far. Mm-hmm. This is where I'm starting to feel like what? Like
You're not the only one in history to have said that or had feelings like that about the temple stuff in season 6.
Yeah, I don't care about these people at all. If the fucking creature came and killed every one of them right now, I'd be cool with it.
Well, maybe that's what they're for. We just haven't gotten there yet.
These people are, they definitely seem like cannon fodder. And how the fuck, if you got like, how do you not run across this? You got these people on this island, not a whole lot to do.
Magic.
Not a big island for the, they're running into the same place and they don't find this giant fucking temple and it's
magic.
It was probably more than 5 miles.
5 kilometers inland.
Well, I mean, Hurley was near it, right? Or not Hurley, Jin, because he was there when Monton lost his arm.
Yeah.
And they've been near it and around it, but I just imagine there's something that you can't see it. Like some people couldn't see fucking Jacob's cabin, too.
Yeah.
That's why I keep saying magic. I don't know if it's fair to even criticize because you can so easily explain it with magic. Like, yeah, it could be a fuck up, but also magic.
Yeah. I don't know. This whole thing, they basically got to the temple and I found myself just not giving a shit.
Even the guy that's in Deadwood, you don't give a shit about him?
No, I hate his character.
They were Deadwood
John
sighting.
Hawkes. Yeah, no, I think he's a great actor and another Deadwood sighting. But
he's the translator guy.
He's a translator, and they've got him dressed up like the quintessential douchebag, hippie from the fucking, this is the Woodstock guy who's.
I mean, they
Living on
protect
a
themselves
commune.
with ash.
Yeah,
I mean,
yikes.
All right. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see more. Yeah. You're not wrong. I don't disagree with you. I have a hard time like super caring about some of those characters too, and that's one of the risky things about bringing new characters into a final season because you're not going to really have the time to get to know them, so they are sort of throwaway regardless.
Yes.
But I don't know that that's specifically like an issue with Lost. I think that's part of like when a show is coming to an end. And, in the way that this show is, like, we've heard of the temple, but we've never experienced it. And so I don't know. I feel maybe they did their best. As it goes on, we'll see what you think. But I think it's a super fair criticism at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think, Derek? How do you feel about invested in the characters?
I want to encapsulate my summary.
Sorry. Yes, sir. I'm so sorry.
There's the Temple of Doom. This was the Temple of meh.
Temple of meh.
Oh, I'm sorry that I was blocking your dad joke there. The Temple of
No,
Meh.
I'm the same way. I'm like, just a bunch of red shirts, don't really care. They get killed by flaming arrows, so be it.
Yep.
Okay. Or
Really?
smoke monsters.
Smoke monsters throwing them all
monsters.
around. That'll be fun.
That is fun.
Hope the CGI is improved.
Polar bears, whatever.
What did you think, Christy? Is it hard for you to get excited about characters that are introduced so late in the game?
Yeah, I can kind of agree with a lot of that. You know, the first part of the season opener was a bit stronger than this episode for sure. I still want to see, what happens. I have a feeling there's going to be like a battle at the temple or something. I don't know. So I definitely am still, very invested. And, I want to know what Saeed went through too.
Right.
If he went through anything or if he was just like not there and then he was there again. I don't know. It's definitely setting up some possible interesting shit going forward. So
sweet. We kind of all got our final impressions jumbled in there. I'm just going to say one more thing. If Christy and Ben are finished.
yes.
Oh, are you?
Yes, that was a question.
Okay. Now there's one other thing. The first episode was LAX. The second episode is literally LAX.
Oh, for God's sake. Okay. I thought it was a good second half to kind of like the setup. If you look at it all as one thing, I once again appreciate the way that the writers have found a way to give me everything that's on the island that's happening now is like still fresh and new, with the caveat that I do understand new characters can be tough and also sort of annoying. But then everything is new in the unknown now in this Flash Sideways. Like they did it again. They found another way to take my attention and be like, oh, we're not doing the Flash Forward anymore. Okay, this is what we're doing now. And what does this mean? And so I think you said that, Ben, like you even appreciated the Flash Sideways more than like what was happening.
Yeah.
In the temple. And yes, and that has been a common criticism of this season. But lastly, Derek, what did you think of LAX Part 2? Are you getting any new questions even, or are you feeling like you're getting close to some answers?
I got a few answers there. I mean, I didn't think this was as good as Part 1, but it is setting up for some kind of maybe final battle coming up here.
Big boss battle.
Yeah, exactly.
The Temple of Hippies versus, the Smoke Monster. Yeah, but they finally make it there, and this water, supposedly heals people because it looks like it healed Saeed, and I believe it's the same thing that saved Ben when he was shot as a kid.
When Ben lost his innocence. That was a consequence.
That was a different way, but
They were like,
Not
they're going to be
Horace.
asleep for a few hours afterwards.
there's going to be a
God.
priest in here. Yeah. No, I had a couple of questions, like what did Juliet mean by "it worked"?
Indeed. What did she
Who
mean?
is this Japanese man, and what is in the water that heals these people?
Wow. Okay. We're gonna get the Japanese man's
faith.
name.
That's right. That's right.
We're gonna get the Japanese man's name shortly. The other questions about the water. Yep, you are gonna learn about the water. I can stop saying in this season because obviously it's gonna be in this season. And I already forgot your third thing there. It was the Japanese guy. What does she mean by it worked? Oh, well, yes. Put a pin in that, and that'll be actually a fun discussion. But it's not going to happen next week. No. Next week is Wednesday, June the 12th. And we're doing season 6, episode 3. We've seen what Kate did. Now we get what Kate does. It's the last Kate episode of the
already know.
series.
Only
3
fans.
hole. And just because of that comment, it is also going to be a Ben episode. He's getting the last shot at Kate because I love
get
him so
another
much.
Kate episode. Sweet.
Last
It's gonna
shot at
suck.
Next week, we go on the run with Kate. We get to know Jesus Gerard and surprise, we get reacquainted with an old friend. See you then. Bye.
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 Bye, everybody. Lost in My 40s is a Space Bear Media production. Executive produced and edited by me, Lacey J. Sound engineering, editing, and original music by Benjamin Trimp. Like and follow Lost in My 40s on Facebook and Space Bear _media on Instagram and Threads. Plus, follow Space Bear Media on YouTube for extra video content. Or for everything in one place, go to spacebearmedia.com.